Hello people, Jugglet here. You all voted once again, and this time the winner is Chris Walker, the behemoth of a man from the Outlast series. I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought Jack Baker from Resident Evil would win this one, or maybe Ruvik, how you say his name from the Evil Within the series, but Chris Walker, Outlast. He also has a strange pig thing going on, but let's get on with how I would do his power and if he were to come to Dead by Daylight. Chris Walker, or as I'll be calling him, the Brute, is a very large and burly man who possesses superhuman strength and durability. He's able to easily pick up a fully grown man with one hand and tear off someone's head from their own body. During the Asylum's riots, Walker even managed to take on a dozen armed officers without sustaining a major injury. He can bash down doors bare-handed and break down reinforced glass. Chris also displays a high pain tolerance, withstanding multiple gunshots to his torso and jaw, as well as being hit by Pauline's car. With a lot of my mini concepts, which you'll see in the playlist for concepts, I tend to do it, if I'm honest with myself, a bit overcomplicated with the powers, so I want to dumb this one down a little bit and make a very simple ability. The Brute moves at 115% movement speed with a 40-meter terror radius. He is loud, he's strong, and his power will match all of this. Every time the Brute breaks a pallet or breakable wall, he gains a stack of force. Upon reaching 3 stacks of force, he can tap the ability button, causing a map-wide roar, similar to the Oni's Blood Fury. Once he has tapped this ability, he hunches over slightly and begins to charge forwards at 135% movement speed. In this form, he can smash through pallets instantly and breakable walls. If he collides with a solid object, he beats down on the ground and causes rubble to form around his feet in a 1-meter circle. Any survivor caught in the rubble will become injured. If he collides directly into a player, he puts them into the dying state and is stunned for 2 seconds. This mode lasts for 40 seconds. If a player is put into the dying state, he loses 7 seconds off of his ability. If the Brute collides with a generator, progressed or not, he will bash it and cause it to lose 15% of its progress and take him out of his brute force form. Survivors could bait him into crashing into a gen to remove his form. You will gain 1 stack of force every 2 minutes passively, regardless if you break a pallet or not. So if by some miraculous reason you haven't broken a single pallet or door within 6 minutes, you will gain your power anyway. That would be it for his ability. So to try and make some sense of how he would work in a game, I'll quickly do a breakdown of how a match could go. Spawn into a trial, locate a survivor, start chase, break some pallets, maybe injuring the survivor, then say you have broken 2 pallets and this survivor's giving you a bit of trouble. It might be worth dropping the chase and locating a breakable wall. Once at 3 stacks, you can use your power whenever you please. If it was me, I'd probably use my power once I've located a healthy survivor and charge them. Then once I am down to my last couple of seconds of power, use it against the generator which has been progressed to digress it. The idea for this killer is to be similar to the only different. He struggles early game until he eventually starts to gain the stacks of force. Eventually, possibly creating a snowballer for himself. He isn't overly quick in his form, but he would be deadly. Survivors can choose whether to throw pallets and have him shred through them, or attempt to dodge his power. His movement steering would be heavily reduced, probably similar to the turning rate of Billy's chainsaw. Anyway, that's it for his power, and now onto his 3 teachable perks. Perk 1, Hex Hopelessness. A hex rooting its power on hope. The false hope of survivors ignites your hunger. So this is going to be very similar to Devour Hope. I've taken the tooltip for this one. Each time a survivor is rescued from a hook while you are at least 24 meters away, Hex Hopeless receives 1 token, up to a maximum of 5 tokens. At 2 tokens, 10 seconds after hooking a survivor, gain undetectable status effect for the next 15 seconds. At 3 tokens, all survivors suffer from a permanent blind and exhaust status effect. At 5 tokens, all survivors suffer from the broken status effect. All effects persist until the hex has been cleansed. So it's very similar to Devour Hope, only all the tooltips are very, very different. It's got really good high risk, high reward. I love those kind of perks. They're like my favorite kind of perks. But yeah, that's the first one. Perk 2 would be Stomper. Every time you break a pallet, gain a stack of Stomper. At 2 stacks, grants the ability to instantly kick a generator, causing it to lose 12% progress. Similar to the Spirit Fury stacks. And I like the idea of every killer having at least some form of gen slowdown in their toolkits for their teachable perks, but that's not always going to be the case, obviously, but I like this idea. Perk 3 would be Broken Pane. Every time a pallet is broken, causes all window vault locations to be blocked within 32 meters of the broken pallet for the next 15 seconds. I hope you like this idea for Chris Walker. I would love Outlast to have a chapter in this game, as I do think there's room for at least 1 character from the series. like, subscribe, and other YouTube things. Take care.